Looking for reliable forex analysis? Check out ForexScope for daily forecasts and insights to help you trade smarter. Link in the description and comments.
A new report reveals a disturbing chapter in the Trump administration's immigration policies, detailing systematic torture and abuse endured by over 250 Venezuelan nationals deported to El Salvador. Published on Wednesday, the joint investigation by Human Rights Watch and Cristal presents a harrowing account of suffering, including sexual assault, within El Salvador's notorious terrorist continent center, known as Socorro. This sprawling detention facility, according to the report, operated in direct violation of United Nations standards for prisoner treatment, characterized by inhumane conditions, prolonged solitary confinement, and severe food deprivation. The authors of the report accuse the Trump administration of deliberate complicity, alleging that officials were fully aware of the risks of mistreatment and even death awaiting deportees upon arrival in El Salvador. The deportations, which occurred in March and April, were reportedly carried out despite prior State Department reports documenting harsh prison conditions in the Central American nation. This deliberate disregard for the well-being of deportees has drawn comparisons to the infamous Abu Ghraib scandal during the War on Terror, highlighting a pattern of human rights abuses facilitated by U.S. policy. Juanita Gobertis, America's Director for Human Rights Watch, stated unequivocally that the Trump administration is complicit in systematic torture and enforced disappearances of these Venezuelans. She emphasized that the administration possessed prior knowledge of the life-threatening risks associated with sending individuals to El Salvador, making their actions a clear abdication of responsibility. The report further details that the Trump administration provided over $4.7 million to the Salvadoran regime of President Nayib Bukele to offset the costs of detention, effectively outsourcing a cruel immigration crackdown. Noah Bullock, executive director of Cristal, condemned this arrangement, likening the Salvadoran prison system to a prop in a theater of cruelty, hired by the U.S. to send a message of brutality. While acknowledging uncertainty about the extent of the Trump administration's awareness of the specific horrors of torture, Bullock underscored the clear intent to demonstrate a harsh stance. The 81-page report meticulously documents the experiences of the deportees, many of whom were asylum seekers fleeing Venezuela and possessed no criminal records in the U.S. Despite being labeled as terrorist members of the Tren de Aragua gang, official accusations were largely unsubstantiated, with only a small percentage having prior convictions for violent crimes. Detainees faced constant beatings and other forms of mistreatment, with specific instances of sexual violence documented. These abuses, the report argues, meet the international legal definition of torture, designed to subjugate, humiliate, and inflict severe physical and psychological suffering. Former inmates recounted being subjected to beatings from the moment of arrival and throughout their detention, with officers seemingly operating under the belief that their superiors condoned or even encouraged such actions. One former detainee, identified as Gonzalo Y., shared a chilling anecdote where the facility's director greeted new arrivals with the words, "You have arrived in hell." The report, built on over 200 interviews and corroborated testimonies, illustrates how even minor infractions, such as talking too loudly, showering at an inappropriate time, or requesting medical attention, could result in severe beatings. Disturbingly, some inmates reported being beaten following visits by the International Committee of the Red Cross. And, in one notable instance, after a visit by U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Noem's public video, filmed outside a crowded prison cell, inadvertently highlighted the dire conditions. Gobertis pointed to Noem's visit and the subsequent beatings inflicted after prisoners protested their innocence as further evidence of the U.S. government's complicity in the systematic torture. The report also includes accounts of sexual abuse, with one individual forced into oral sex with a guard. While sexual assaults were believed to be more widespread, social stigma prevented many from reporting them. The detained Venezuelans were eventually released in July as part of a complex deal that also secured the freedom of 10 Americans held in Venezuela. Bullock concluded by drawing a parallel between the treatment of these Venezuelans and the broader pattern of arbitrary detentions, disappearances, and systematic torture affecting tens of thousands of Salvadorans in their own country over the past 3 years. a phenomenon that has led to hundreds of deaths and raises grave concerns about potential crimes against humanity committed by the Salvadoran government, a system the United States allegedly contracted to process migrants.